On the USTEC, we had this situation figured out here yesterday where we had a buy position triggered. I told you how a buy position was triggered after identifying a flat channel at the beginning of the week. So we had a channel between the 11,960 and the $12,020 level. And with the breakout of the $12,020 level, it was a beautiful opportunity to buy the USTEC. And during the live session, I was telling you how much we doubting the buy momentum here after noticing the selling pressure that we had here. So I said it's a risk worth taking. Let's continue to hold on to that bullish momentum there and see how far that momentum will go. And in addition to that structure there, I was able to identify the $12,070 level where I said a breakout retest of that structure will be giving us an opportunity to add more position. And in fact, price action did break out of that structure and moved about 85 pips in our direction before we started seeing this bearish momentum resume in this market. And in addition to that structure, we also had this bullish trend line figured out, which we said it will be serving as a yardstick for trading activity for this week. As if price continues to trade above that structure, we want to feel comfortable in our buy position. And if price action drops below that trend line, we'll definitely want to be thinking of selling the USTEC, as the trend line may no longer be strong enough to hold this bullish momentum. And if you look at what has been happening here in the last 12 to 15 hours, you will see how selling pressure appeared to have taken over this market. Look at this candle here. As soon as price tested the 12,160, we saw this candle that looks more like a shooting star candle, giving us a clue that sellers are still very strong in this market. And if we zoom out a little further and look at what has been happening in the last couple of weeks on this commodity, you will see that price action has been bearish. And if we consider the long-term bearish momentum with the current structure we have been witnessing here in the last 24 hours, it is very obvious that sellers are gradually coming in this market. And with the breakdown of the $12,070 level, it was a good opportunity to join that decline to the downside. And I hope you took advantage of that opportunity. But if you missed out on that, well, it's okay. I still think the market will still be giving us another chance to join that decline. And for those who are joined that decline from that level, kudos to you. You want to be moving your stop loss now to secure this current position at your entry point. Now that we have a breakdown of that bullish trend line, you all know from a technical standpoint that whenever we do have a breakdown of structure, there is a likelihood that price will come back to do a retest of that structure. And it appears price action is approaching a retest of that structure. So there is still a likelihood that we have an opportunity to add more position, or probably if you had missed out on that opportunity, there is still a likelihood that price action will come back to give us a second chance on this one. Now, another structure we have here is the $12,020 level, which if price action continues to the downside, breaking down the structure, it will definitely be welcoming additional position on this one. Then to further buttress the bearish momentum that we have here, it's very important to consider the lower highs that we have been seeing here in the last 15 hours, and to emphasize that we need to bring out our line chart so that we can have specific points of connection. And if we do connect the lower highs here, this is what we are going to be seeing. And to bring back our candle chart, do some little adjustment. This trend line here shall be our yardstick for trading activity for today. Now, how do we intend to use these trend lines to guide our trading opportunity? Well, considering the fact that the trend line shares a beautiful confluence with that $12,070 level, which was broken during the early hours of today, if price action comes back into the structure and we start seeing selling pressure around that trend line, then we definitely want to be getting ready to join a decline to the downside. And selling pressure, what I mean by selling pressure around that structure, most people have been asking me that question, that what do I mean by selling pressure? Well, selling pressure comes in the form of multiple rejection of the 12,070. That is, if price action gets into this level, most of the time we can see this very clearly on our lower time frame, like the 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute time frame. We see price reject this level, bring price to the downside. Price goes back again, rejects it to the downside. This is what selling pressure is, and most of the time it normally transitions into a reversal pattern, probably your double top structure, your head and shoulder pattern. It could be a rising wedge, whatever it is. Breakdown retest of that structure in the lower time frame will be a beautiful signal to join that bearish momentum to the downside. So with the bearish trend line identified here, we shall be using this trend line to guide selling opportunity on the USTEC. Now, if it so happens that the trend line gets broken to the upside, climbing above the $12,070 level, and you can see that that $12,070 level also shares that confluence with that bullish trend line. So if it so happens that price action climbs above both of the structure, then definitely this is going to be a sign that buyers are probably coming in this market, where the breakdown of that bullish trend line here will turn out to be a false breakdown. So what we are going to be looking forward to, if price action breaks above the 12,070, is to remain patient. Remember, we don't want to get too excited in this kind of structure, as we have a bearish trend line which has been reflecting some level of selling pressure here. So we don't want to get too excited at this point. So if a breakout happens, we scale down to our lower time frame. What we want to be looking out for is a retest of structure, which will be characterized by buying pressure above this level. Then we want to be joining that rally to the upside. So what this implements is that we have this trend lines here coupled with that key level at the $12,070 area will be guiding our trading activity for today. So if price action trades continue to trade below the 12,070, we shall be comfortable in our buy position. And if price action breaks above that level, definitely we want to start thinking and getting prepared to join a rally to the upside. So this is what I'll be looking forward to on the USTEC. I don't need to scale up to into the daily time frame on this one, as it's quite a very simple setup that we have here for the lower time frame. So let's see how this plays out in the next 24 hours, and obviously we shall be coming back here tomorrow to review how well the current position is doing. So for those who are on the sell position here, ensure you have moved your stop loss to your entry point here, as we have a beautiful confluence around that entry point where anything could actually happen. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop your inquiries in the comment section.